Welcome back, everybody, to another episode and year of Talking Triathlon, a podcast where two guys talk about the sport of triathlon. Those two guys are myself, I guess, Tim Ford, and that guy over there, James Bale. Jimbo, mate, welcome back.
Here we go, mate. 2026 is upon us. We've got another season of triathlon rearing into view, and I am very, very excited for what's going to happen this year. Some of these series are really starting to find their stride. We've got more to come. There's going to be additional athletes we weren't expecting doing things. I'm quite sure. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. You are right. I think that looking at this year, it seems like it's not just like they're coming to their stride and evolution of a lot of new series. You know, some of these race series, we're now in the third or fourth year of it. Some much further. Some we're seeing, like I think WTCS has 10 races this year or something. So it's jam-packed. There's certainly going to be a lot of triathlon to talk about this year. But I also feel like, I don't know, maybe we're going to see, you know, this first year in a while, we're going to have the men and women race together in Kona. We had a lot of athletes retire at the end of last year. We saw a lot of athletes sort of start to step up in distance. A lot of athletes have breakthrough performances last year. Those names that we were talking about as up-and-comers are probably going to become more mainstream sort of people. So, yep, there's a lot to look forward to this year. I think that as a fan of pro triathlon, there's definitely going to be a lot to follow, and maybe too much. I guess we'll find out in 12 months when we get to the end of the year, and we're fucking exhausted by this. This is crazy, but I'm looking forward to the journey.
Yeah, totally. Like you say, it's the first time we're going to see the men and women together in Kona for some time. That I'm very much looking forward to. It's the first year we're going to see the men and women separated in the T100 series. That I'm looking forward to a little bit less. But, you know, I have had preconceived ideas of many things in this sport before, and I've been wrong many times. So, you know, we'll give them a chance to prove me wrong on that one.
Exactly right. Yeah, again, I'd forgotten about the men and women thing in the 200, but you are correct. It's separate. So, mate, a month off, a break. How was your Christmas? How was your time off? How was your training? What's going on?
It was good. Really good, actually. It was the first time in the modern era that I have done a completely alcohol-free Christmas, which was good for my training. I kept the momentum going through the festive period, mate. I think I did a 28K run the day before Christmas Eve, and then kind of rolled on through. I think I had Christmas Eve and Christmas Day off. No, I didn't. I did a run did 12K on Christmas Day, and I've just kept on rolling. And yeah, running, I'm really turning a corner, to be honest. I'm starting to feel fast again, slowly.
It's beautiful to hear.
Got 3 months to get myself in gear for London Marathon, so I better. How's your fitness?
It's
No, you're
it's
not a triathlete anymore.
well, that is true. I think the first, basically, I took the Friday was my last day, and the 19th of December, and the 20th I woke up and went, I don't think I want to do triathlon anymore. So I'm not a triathlete. I'm just taking a break from it this year. I'm still swimming, biking, and running, but yeah, my goal is definitely marathons for 2026. But unlike you, I think I drank every day over my break, and I've gotten back to work. I'm like, I need to take a break, so I'm not going to be drinking for a while. But I just ran and rode pretty much every day while I was on leave, and just did it because I wanted to. Just did, you know, nothing really specific. Just ran as long I felt like. It was funny though. In Sydney, we had a bit of a heat wave. Actually, I think it was almost 6 days in a row over 40 degrees Celsius.
Yeah,
And
you messaged me a few times about that.
and
It looked diabolical to be running in that sort of environment.
but it's one of those things, right, where you look outside, the weather looks beautiful. Yes, it's hot, but it's not wet and miserable and cold. Like, yeah, I'll go for a run. She'll be right. And every time I'd be about 6K into this, what's meant to be a 25K run, going, why am I doing this? Like, this is stupid. Do I turn around and go back? No, of course not. I continue on my 25K run in 40 degrees and just suffer for 2.5 hours because I can't run fast and have to stop 50 times for water. But it was fun. It absolutely knackered me because I think there was a period where, because I was trying to alternate bike run, bike run, bike run. I did the Festive 500, etc. And I had ridden over 100K and run over 20K alternating days, 5 days in a row, and it was over 40 degrees each day. And I got to the end of it, I was absolutely fried. What the hell? But yeah, I've tried to keep the vibes going. Now I'm back at work. I think on Wednesday I finished work at 5, and because we've got daylight savings, it's daylight till 8:30 went for a 20 odd K run, doing K on, K off. And yeah, it's good. Fitness is actually, yeah, quite good. I'm starting to run. Yeah, like when I try to pick up the pace for those on Ks, not, going flat out, but I was holding sort of 410, 412 average with a relatively okay heart rate. I thought that's pretty good. So yeah, looking forward to a few marathons this year. I think I want to try to do 2. I definitely want to do Singapore in December, because I was there for the half and think what a great event, and it looks like a real challenge. And then I need to find something a bit faster, hopefully in July, and I want to have a crack at a sub 250 marathon.
London.
I can't make it work, mate. I really would have, but I think I've got work. I'm somewhere that weekend. There's an event on. I can't be at London, unfortunately, because London is, of the majors, it's top of my list. That's the one that I will definitely do London at some point.
It's the best of all things. It's the single greatest race of all races, in my opinion. It's better than
Wow.
any triathlon I've ever done.
Well, I mean,
The vibe on that day is astounding.
I can only compare it to the marathon I did in Sydney, which I would almost say was the same experience for me. It was honestly probably the best race I've ever done in my life. And I think that London would be on a much larger scale. So, plus, again, I love London. I think it's such a great city. Yeah, definitely a bucket list thing for me. But just because I don't do triathlon at the moment doesn't mean I can't talk about triathlon, doesn't mean I still don't love triathlon, doesn't mean I still work in triathlon. So we will still talk plenty about triathlon on this podcast. Now, Jimbo, I think that may be a good place to, no, sorry. If you want to hear us talk more about triathlon, you want to keep in the loop with us about triathlon, you can head to patreon.com/talking triathlon for $5 a month. You get to join our Patreon group. Bonus monthly shows.
That's the minimum. You're welcome to contribute more per month.
Some people do, to be honest, actually. I'm always, yeah, so very, very appreciative. Thank you to all the people who signed up over Christmas to get the bonus episodes. But, I did hear WhatsApp group, all the other stuff, but I signed up for a Patreon for a podcast over Christmas. And what I liked, what she said that I want to say now is, yes, you get the bonus stuff, but that's not the reason you sign up. Or don't think of the reason you sign up to get the bonus content. Think of the reason is to support the podcast. You want to support us, continue to do this show. That's the main reason you join the Patreon. The other stuff, it's like a thank you. It's a benefit, but don't think that's the main reason. So I thought that was a nice little thing to add. So, but we will get back to bonuses and all that stuff this year. We hit the number every year, even if we make up for a few at the end with our full bonus things. But yeah, it's been really good over the Christmas break to have those people. We set up a second group called Talking Cricket in there, which was fun. As the Ashes were happening, but we won't talk about that now for many reasons.
It was thoroughly dejecting. Anyway, this isn't a Talking Cricket podcast, is it? This is a Talking Triathlon podcast, and we've got lots of triathlon to talk about. But mate, it's been a tiring start to the year. It's only the 22nd of January, and I already feel slightly fatigued.
That's your permanent state of existence, mate.
I need that second wind to kick in to get me going into. I need some sport. Basically, is what it is. I need something to follow.
Cricket. We just said cricket. It was
a
brilliant.
bit much, that. I just need something to follow that will help me spread my attention away from other things that might be taking place in the world at the moment. I need something to focus on that brings me joy. And triathlon is one of those. The Tour Down Under is happening in Australia at the moment. I need to pay a bit of attention to that. It's difficult, though, with the time zones. I'm looking forward to triathlon coming back, giving me something really meaty to focus on.
Now, I thought a good place for us to start this year or this week would be, is there anything that over the break, because some stuff has happened over the period. Was there any headlines or things that were discussed in the WhatsApp group or that you sort of noticed while you're on break, things that caught your attention before we get into the meat and bones of what we're going to talk about this week?
No, not really. I mean, I can't bring anything to mind that particularly... my main focus on the break, I'll give you a little peek behind my curtain before you do your thing. My main focus is that I'm preparing for the London Marathon. I'm raising a lot of money for a charity for the London Marathon, and I'm planning the Ultimate Triathlon raffle. So that's been my main focus over this break. My triathlon focus is I've reached out to a lot of people, and I've got a lot of brands, sponsors, athletes on board who are sending in prizes to be part of this Ultimate Triathlon raffle, which is going to be run through February and March. So keep an eye on that. I'll put it on the social channels. There'll be, when it goes live, there'll be a link in the show notes to get yourself a ticket. Be relatively cheap to enter, and there are going to be some astounding prizes on the line to be won by some lucky people who win those raffle prizes. So that's been my
Well,
triathlon focus of the break, mate.
well, it's perfect, probably a good opportunity to announce this then. But as you know, I'm a big supporter of your effort to do the London Marathon, your charity thing. So one of the things that I've actually commissioned that's going to be part of the Ultimate Triathlon Raffle is I've got a tasteful nude of James Bale being painted. I can't even get it out without laughing. Yeah, a tasteful nude of James Bale is going to be created. And that can be one of the raffle prizes as well. So I need to work out the exact.
Do I have to sit for that? Do I?
No, mate. They. I have enough reference material, and again, imagination. No, you did. There is one thing in that raffle in particular that I've already told you I want, and to be honest, from who you've told me is already. I'm so. Again, it's an example of being really proud to be part of this community when you see how many of these amazing athletes have stepped up and been very, very generous. So
that's exactly it from the way I sit. It's made me very proud of our little triathlon niche sport community because a lot of people have stepped up and said, "Yeah, of course, we'll send you something." Just little examples now. I've got 2 Metaspeed running shoes signed by Lucy Charles-Barclay. I've got a tri-suit from Taylor Knibb signed. I've got Matt Hauser's sent me a race kit from his 2026 WTCS 2025. 2025 WTCS championship year. All these things, race entries from organizations, framed jerseys from other organizations from winning series, etc., etc., etc. The list goes on. There's going to be a lot of prizes. Keep an eye on it. That has kept my triathlon interest going throughout the break. What about you, mate?
Well, I think the things that the 2 main things that I sort of piqued my interest over the break were changes to the PTO World Rankings. They've adjusted the way the system works. I don't really understand how. I've stopped trying to understand it, but I thought we'd talk about the rankings. And then there was the 12 versus 20 meter draft discussion over the break too, where there's been talk about Ironman adopting the 20 meter draft zone. They were the 2 things that probably cut through the most because, again, I was really trying to actually remove myself from anything work-related over the break. But, I mean, are you aware of those things? Have you seen any of these?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the draft zone news is an interesting one. I've seen a lot of people come out for it and a few people come out against it. But what's your take on the vibe from that?
I've been quite vocal, I think, in the past, saying that I think that we spend a little bit too much time focusing on the drafting in triathlon. I think that it is, in some ways, it is the core of the sport, but I also sometimes feel like it might be the thing that holds the sport back. It is, like I said, as an athlete doing the sport, I'm all for the non-drafting. Don't draft. And I like the bigger the draft zone, the better, I think, because I've always been quite a strong cyclist. But as a fan, I think watching, in particular, the T100 series last year with the 20 meter draft zone, I just don't think it particularly lends itself very well to a broadcast. I have thought that what I always want to see is closer racing. And I understand by saying this, closer racing might mean less fair racing. It seems to me that the majority of people who are clamoring for, it's not like every triathlete is saying, yes, we support this. There's a lot of people who are obviously either quite strong swim bikers and maybe not as strong runners, quite adamant about this. And I think that if you look to some of the most exciting races in recent years, especially at a world championship, they probably wouldn't have gone that way if there was a 20-minute draft zone. A good example being 2024 Kona's race where Patrick Langer passed Sam Laidlow on the run. I want to see things. I guess if I had to choose between fairer racing and more exciting racing, I want to see more exciting racing. And I think that 20-meter draft zone on the bike is definitely fairer racing, and I can completely understand why a lot of pros want it. I just don't think it leads to more exciting racing. In fact, I think it would make the racing much less exciting because what you really are then getting is individual time trials, no pack dynamics really, and you're just going to have a very, very boring broadcast where ones and twos are on the screen. There's nothing really happening. And I think that, yeah, again, purely from a broadcast watching the sport point of view, I don't support the 20-minute draft. but I can understand why the athletes doing it and the amateurs doing it would support it, if that makes sense. So it's kind of, I guess I'm sort of sitting on the fence a little bit, but
No, I'm with you. I think you're quite right. I think we're gonna see it shake up the field in terms of creating a much more fair environment for people to race in. And yeah, I think there would be a worry that perhaps that'll translate, like you say, into everything coming down really to only really getting broadcast excitement on the run. Because a 20-meter draft rule, you're just going to have long, long lines to look at. You might have people working their way up through the field, but you've got long, long lines to look at, and it makes passing even harder on the bike. If you've got to make up 20 meters before you can cut in front of somebody, that's an ask.
I mean, yeah, like if you had to ask me right now, do I support it? I'd say no, I think. And again, that is as a, without, that's purely thinking as a fan. I'd like watching the sport. I don't particularly care if it's what's fair or not, right? Like it's the same with watching football, right, or whatever other sport. Like watching the Ashes, I don't particularly care if Sneeko gets a call wrong and it means that the Australian batsman's not out. Like I don't, it's if that like, I think goes on to get 160, it's pretty awesome, right? I just think that one of the big things I found last year was I really did by the end. I'd run out of steam and interest in T100, and it was just because I found the broadcast really good job of it, but the actual racing was just quite unexciting. And we discussed this ad nauseum last year, right? The idea of an exceptional performance versus an exceptional race. And after looking at what happened in T100, where we saw some really incredible dominant performances by an athlete like Hayden Wilde, compared to some of the very exciting races we saw, Ironman World Championships in Nice, 70.3 World Championships in Marbella, Women's World Championships in Kona. That's what I'm after. I would, if I had to pick every day of the week, I want the exciting, close, dynamic changes, blow ups. That's what I want to see. The masterclass performances, yes, I can look on paper and
Yeah.
go, this is brilliant. It doesn't, the thought of watching an Ironman where it is an 8 hour race or 7 and a bit hour race, and it's literally just ones and twos, not really much happening, I think would make it even harder to watch a race that is already, let's be honest, not the easiest thing in the world to watch.
Yeah, it is a strange one, isn't it? Because you might have an environment where the results reflect the true standings of things, the true order of things, because you're going to have, like you say, that more individual time trial effort going on, which, that's kind of what we want. But you're not going to have the excitement on course. But again, I'm happy to say again that I've had preconceived ideas proved wrong before by this sport. Whenever I say that, I'm thinking of Supertri for some reason, because they're the biggest culprits in my mind of me going, oh, I don't like the idea of that, and then them proving me completely wrong. But in this instance, we might be wrong. We might see that unleashing these athletes from the constraints of the current draft zone allows them to act and have a different dynamic on course, behave in different ways, and force more exciting racing. We'll see.
I mean, I'm going to say this again. I've said it many times over the past, and most often I get the same response. But I would genuinely love to see and I'm not talking about a replacement, an additional series or an additional pilot race. I would love to see a draft legal Ironman race. And I don't mean Ironman the brand. I mean a 4K swim, 3.8K swim, 180 kilometer bike, 42 kilometer run. And I'd like to see that done with draft legal riding. I would be very fascinated to see the way that race unfolded. And again, I'm saying this because I know there's people going, fucking Tim drafting. Not replacing Ironman. A separate, different, additional thing. I would, even if it's just a couple of, I'd really like to see how that goes, because I believe that it could make the racing more interesting. People say, oh, WTCS is just the ride doesn't count. I still find it quite engaging watching the rides and watching the attacks and seeing the way that, Morgan Pearson trying to go off the front and the way the group shuts him down. Like, I find that stuff much more entertaining than straight TT lines. I want to see it. I don't understand why we still haven't at least tried it, I guess.
With Ironman racing as it is, though, you've got, compared to the WTCS, you've got a much bigger spread across the swim in Ironman. So you'd have these fast swimmers coming out, forming a pack and fucking off down the road. then you'd have these dribs and drabs coming out. You'd have a smaller pack, then you'd have when you got to the end, you just have these individual riders who couldn't, by any stretch of the imagination, catch the packs that were working together up the road.
Do you think though, or do you think that if you then got those groups of the really strong Uber cyclists who aren't front pack swimmers got together, who have an obvious advantage on the bike, and you had them truly work together, maybe they could then bridge up to the...
Depends how many there are and if they're willing to work in a team time trial type capacity. Because if you've got a peloton of strong riders and people at the front driving things, catching that is hard, man.
I still think though that you'd then get that group at the front even, that the run would be a lot closer. You're not going to have that one person fuck off.
You might have people who start dicking about.
Yeah, see, again,
their turns. And...
I just like one race. Let's get one race.
I want to see that experiment. I'm just talking about what I think.
I hadn't thought. Yeah, I would just like to. I would say don't go the sub 7, sub 8 route where it's the team time trial like TT bikes. I want to see road bikes, groups, no aero helmets. Like a lot of the triathlon-ery, not the 12 water bottles and the calf socks and the TT helmets. Like, yeah, pull it back. Anyway, we can talk about it forever. What about the world rankings? Because the update came through, and what are your thoughts about the PTO rankings these days? How they stand?
Yeah, okay. So currently on the PTO website, we've got Hayden Wilde leading the men's, Jelle Gaines, Mick Anoot, Martin Van Riel, Rico Bogan, Morgan Pearson. That's the top 6 on the men's side. On the women's, Kate Waugh, Julie Darren, Lucy Charles-Barclay, Taylor Knibb, Kat Matthews, Ashley Gentle. Top 6 on both male and female.
Yeah, I think it's kind of bullshit, if I'm honest. I feel like we've spoken about this a long time, that the way the PTO series with the T100 and the platinum races and blah, 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 very heavily weights the T100 athletes who compete. And I think this now sort of reflects that even more. Would I say Hayden Wilde is the best male athlete in the world? Possibly. Is he clearly the world number one? Probably not. I mean, the fact that you've not got any of the Norwegians in the top 6 is crazy to me. And as I spoke about last year, I don't know if you look at the way that the points earned from a race like Wollongong compared to the Ironman World Champs in Nice, Wollongong was a higher point scoring event than Nice. It's like, I just don't think that... I get it, right? This is a PTO owned system, and as much as PTO is about the sport, it is now a race organizer. It is a race series, and they're well within their right to move things slightly towards their athletes and their series and that sort of thing. I look at these rankings now, and I almost don't really consider them true rankings anymore, because it does feel like there is a bit of a bias. It's not a truly objective ranking system, let's put it that way. That's how I see it, because I think we can all agree that the T100 events last year did not have the strongest fields in the sport, and therefore probably aren't deserving of the amount of boosted points that they get. So yeah, I look at this now, it's like, it's a good guide. I don't consider it the true, like I would not, if you ask me the number 1 athletes in the world, I wouldn't say it's Hayden Wilde and Kate Waugh. As a pure golden rule, I would disagree with the PTO system now.
Yeah, I would too. Not because I don't think they have the capacity to be the best athletes in the world, and I'm sure you don't either. It's more Hayden's season, to me, captured as it was by the T100 racing, doesn't reflect best athlete in the world status, because we had some amazing racing and some amazing athletes in different series. Now you've got the Ironman Pro Series standings, you've got the T100 standings, and then you've got the PTO rankings. I would like to see the Ironman and the T100 standings being their own thing, their own captive thing, and I would like to see the PTO rankings much more reflective of a spread, of a fair spread across all longer course racing.
Exactly. I 100% agree with you, because I look at that women's rankings, and again, Kate Waugh got the T100 world title, amazing, dominant, beautiful season. Julie Darren up there very consistently. I don't understand how you have Lucy below Julie or Kate. To be honest, she won the 70.3 world title. She had that great race in Kona. I just look at it and think, yeah, The women's one probably more so than the men's. I think the men's, I wouldn't have Hayden as my number one athlete of last year. Like I said, the fact that Christian is 7, Casper is 12, and then you look at some of the other athletes on this list, like Vincent Louis 17th, and I think Vince had a terrible year last year. I just look at it and go like, yeah, there's still work to be done. Let's put it that way. But I like that they're constantly trying to do it. I just think it's time to go, okay, maybe we can do what we want with the PTO T100 ranking is brilliant, but maybe when it comes to the actual world rankings, we need to be a little bit more objective. And
yeah, I mean, really, I'd like to see a truly independent body running
exactly
official world rankings. Yeah.
Well, this is I guess the point, right? Is when this all started, it was an independent body, and it has now ceased to be an independent body, and it is now a race series. So yeah, I think that's.
I mean, are they still the athlete's advocate,
No.
which is kind of how they started? It was a like a union almost, wasn't it? But it's become a race series.
It's become an amateur race series with a pro element. Like that's the reality. The major focus on mass participation, which I actually fully understand now. I used to be like, no, we need. I'm at the point where I'm like, I get it. I understand why all these races focus so much on mass participation because we've seen that many examples. Yeah, well, it's not just that, but we've seen that many now. We have had that many different brands and series and attempts and tries and different formats of trying to make this sport broadcastable. And I just keep thinking it's just not there. You know, we've had Collins Cups, we've had Sub 7s, we've had Supertris, we've had WTCS, we've had Ironmans, and it's all just the same problem. The diehards watch it, the outside people aren't that interested in it. And when you've got a live stream of T100 on YouTube, it's got 4,500 people watching it. It's just not broadcastable. I understand why. And look, like again, you look at marathon running, right? You look at the majors. Majors are huge now, and yes, they're broadcast, but it's not the broadcast that makes it such a big sport. It's the fact that 30 to 50,000 people participate in these events. So I actually think it's a legitimate pathway, but this is a whole other topic. But yeah, I just think back to my point, world rankings, more of a world guideline now for me. I wouldn't be celebrating these people as the world number one athletes. I think there's other athletes that I would probably, on my attempt to be objective, change that order a little bit. So, yeah.
Yeah. But, you know, we still got some of the best athletes in the world, in our sport, about to line up to start their season. Should we talk about how the season's going to play out? Yeah,
well, Try 24/7 have done a really good article, which is basically talking about how all the seasons start, when they're starting, what races are coming up. And I thought we could talk through that because we did this, one of our Christmas episodes we did was a sort of look ahead towards 2026. Do not ask me what we spoke about because I cannot remember. And I actually really loved or found it quite funny that people would every week be like, oh, guys, we love this episode. We like to say this. And I was like, I don't remember what we spoke about. So I hope it was good. But yeah, a bit of a look forward to 2026. We can talk through where the race series starts and then I guess any other things we are looking forward to, etc., etc.
Let's go.
You take it away, mate. I'm taking the time code down.
Yeah, okay. So the first race of the year will be Challenge Wanaka on the 21st of February, which is a stunning race, no?
Technically, it won't be the first race of the year because we've already had Pukon 70.3 and Tauranga half. But for these purposes,
I forgot about those. Yeah, from now on,
going
forward, going forward. Following that, you'll have Ironman New Zealand on the 7th of March, which will kick off the Ironman Pro Series, and then the T100 will start on the 21st of March in the Gold Coast.
So it is a very sort of southern hemisphere. I mean, obviously it's summer down here, but like Asia, Australia, or Australia, New Zealand starts the season because we not only have Ironman New Zealand in the Pro Series, it then goes to Geelong 70.3 after that. But yeah, like
and then WTCS will kick off on the 27th of March in Abu Dhabi.
Okay, and I think the men's race for T100 starts in April in Singapore, correct? Because again, women's Gold Coast, men's Singapore, I believe,
Oh yeah,
is
of course. I forgot. I forgot. I keep forgetting the T100 was split the men and women, despite me mentioning it at the start.
yes.
So yeah, that'll be the women's race, and then yeah, the men's race will be later on in April.
Well, let's start with Challenge Wanaka or Challenge Family, I suppose, overall. What do we see? Maybe we'll do a bit of a review or prediction of how each season, what we're looking forward to seeing this year, what you think they could do. Challenge Family, sort of the unsung hero of pro triathlon in a lot of ways. I think they often get left out of the conversation, rightly or wrongly, I'm not sure. But Challenge Wanaka, truly one of those iconic triathlon events in the world. And it's great to see this year they've got, from what that article says anyway, a few big name athletes already confirmed to be starting. So I think I saw Tom Bishop, Sean Rainsley, Lucy
Yeah, Fred
Byram.
Funk, Tom Bishop, Lucy Byram, Ben Clark. Yeah, a beautiful race in a beautiful location. Like you say, Challenge Family are they're exceptional at what they do, and they're really good. They're really good at looking after their athletes, providing that experience for their athletes, and they put a lot of effort into getting people to come to their races. But like you say, they're kind of right now, they're playing that second tier role to the T100 Ironman, but it's a role they do really well. They're not struggling to exist. Do you know what I mean? They put on great races for pros and age groupers, and I don't know whether they're going to take a step up, but I think they do very well at what they do.
I would also say that maybe if you're inclined to look for alternatives to, I don't know, American-owned events or anything this year or currently, Challenge Family is maybe a good option as well. If you're not that interested in certain parts of the world or whatever, not to get political, but if you're looking to support something else, Challenge Family does a really good job. They've got a lot of like you actually sit back and look at how many races they have. It's quite a lot. I know I know some of the athletes that are racing Challenge are off this year. I'm not going to say yet because it's not for me to announce, but I think that race is going to have a lot of attention. I think that race is going to have a shitload of attention this year, actually. And that's because of the efforts of Challenge Family. You know, as I've said a lot of times, they're one of the only series in the world that consistently pays appearance fees to pros. Like the fact that they still pay such big appearance fees for Challenge Roth, a race that literally sells out in seconds, they clearly don't need to, but they do. Like that to me is a real.
Oh, they do need to, though.
Do
They
you
do
think?
need to.
Tell me
Yeah,
why.
yeah, yeah. This would be a, if they stop paying appearance fees, pros would slowly stop going. It would slowly start to ebb, and then you'd see that race lose some of its mystique, lose some. You can't
Okay,
get
let me.
complacent.
As much appearance fees, well above, like
Again,
ten times what some of the others people pay. I think
invest in your own success, I say.
again, I'm praising them for doing it. I'm simply saying that they are going above the market grain. They like well above the
And
market
for
grain.
that, and for that, going above the expected price, they have probably one of the most well-known triathlons in the world that sells out in
I'm
seconds.
not. I'm not trying to disagree with you.
Maintain that.
I fully get what you're saying. I'm simply saying that they don't get a lot of the love that they should because they are doing what all race series I believe should be doing. So let me rephrase. They are not. They are doing what everybody should be doing, but they seem to almost be the only ones that are actually doing it.
Yeah,
Is that better? Yeah, good.
that's better.
Yeah,
That's
that's
better. Makes
better.
more sense.
But I honestly, yeah, I am quite keen to see. I do feel like they try to put too much emphasis on the championship. I think it's like, okay, guys, we've tried a long time now. It's not really there. Maybe put our efforts somewhere else. But Challenge Roth this year is going to be absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. I think I've just tipped water
I
everywhere.
was watching you do that. Go, what is he doing?
Yeah, I think, I mean, I will have a chat with you offline about some of those names that we're expecting, but I have heard too that we're going to have some some big names at Challenge Roth, and I think that race deserves it. Of all the races, you've got Kona is obviously going to bring people in because it is what it is. The Ironman World Championships, wherever it is, I know it's going to be in Kona again this year, but even when it was in Nice for the last period of time, whichever men's or women's were in Nice, um, it was always going to bring people to it. But Roth is one of those races. It's probably outside of Kona. the next biggest, I think, and it's the one that deserves that really packed field racing it, because not only is it famous for being Challenge Roth, but it's also remarkably quick and capable of getting some incredibly quick times.
Which still baffles me
I think that's right.
considering, yeah, I can see you're doing a good job there. I hope you didn't get any on the Talking Triathlon fleece that you're wearing. Also looks like you have a crucifix on your chest. But yeah, where your zipper is. Look at the zipper with the little red. Anyway, yeah, the Roth fast times are quite funny when you consider there's over 1,000 meters of elevation. Like it's you have this idea that it's this super flat fast course, and it's actually quite hilly and still really fast.
Yeah.
I was there last year. The crowds were like mind blowing. I've never seen so many spectators at a triathlon event in my entire life, and I mean literally everywhere except for the canal where I got yelled at. Every single spot that I was at the race was just absolutely packed, and yeah, it is protect Roth at all costs.
Oh, totally,
Yeah,
totally. And in order to do that, you just got to keep those appearance fees.
I
That's
agree.
it.
Don't stop. Absolutely, don't stop. In fact, I think other racers should take the Challenge family lead and go. We will also start to pay 50,000 plus appearance fees. That would be lovely, actually. Ironman, if you're listening. I doubt they are. Yes, so Roth. Challenge family. I'm definitely looking forward to Challenge Roth. Keen to see Wanaka. Keen to see some of their race. They got Serbani Yas happening again this year after the slight challenges they faced last year, where the accommodation sort of fizzled out last minute because of the boat. It was very, very hot. That race is early in the year as well. I think that's next weekend actually. Challenge Sabanias. But yeah, probably not so keen on the championship, but that's just me. Speak about crazy fast times, actually. That race has diabolically fast. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a fast course. But yeah, Challenge family. Which one next?
Challenge New Zealand would be the opening for the Ironman Pro
Ironman.
Series.
Ironman New Zealand. Challenge New Zealand wouldn't be a pro
Yeah,
series race, but
sorry, we've had some time off. Ironman New Zealand, which is the opening of the Ironman Pro Series on the 7th of March. Christian Blumenfeld's going. Gustav Eden is racing. Who else have
Casper?
we got? Unsure if Casper's going to be there. I've got Christian Blumenfeld, Gustav Eden's names, but we haven't got Casper on the list yet.
Course record holder Mike Phillips will definitely be there, I believe. Come on, Mike.
There you go. There you go. Now, Ironman New Zealand is an epic race and stands on its own as one of the greats on the calendar, and I'm really happy to see it opening the Pro Series. I think it will be a great opener.
I spoke about being at Roth last year and thinking it was such an iconic event. I was at Ironman New Zealand last year as well, and yeah, this is another exceptional race. Does it have the same crowd on course all over? No, the bike course is out in whoop whoop, but the run course, mate, the whole, what is it, 4 lap, 10K, absolutely lined, absolutely jam packed with people. Such a good atmosphere. Lake Taupo is incredibly beautiful. Everything about this event is so great. I love that this is a Pro Series race. I was talking with the guys at Ironman last year about this very thing, and they were saying we had world champs here last year. We couldn't do Pro Series, but here we are this year, and it is. And I think it is such a great way to start the Pro Series with Ironman New Zealand. It is for people who are outside. Yeah.
No, carry on.
I was just going to say, for people outside of this part of the world, like everything you hear and imagine about New Zealand, that's Ironman New Zealand. Like it's got the snow-capped mountains in the background. It's got the clearest, purest water in Lake Taupo you've ever seen. Yeah, man, I'm such a big fan of that race, and the fact that you're going to have, I think, yeah, we say Christian and Gustav. I think we're going to see a fair few big hitters, as we did last year. Pretty much every Pro Series event, I think we're going to see a lot of them coming down to do that double, doing the Ironman New Zealand Geelong 70.3 double to start the Pro Series this year.
Yeah, I agree. And then they come thick and fast because we've got 70.3 Geelong on the 22nd of March, followed by
Geelong.
Oceanside on the 28th, and then Texas on the 18th of April. So
there's sort of a split, right? You're going to have the people that go the North American route, which is probably going to be the Americans and some of the Europeans, and then you're going to have the Southern Hemisphere / Australasia, Oceania. Like, so I am curious to see which way people. I don't think you're going to see people do both. Maybe they will. I think actually I have a feeling. Did Christian say anyway? It doesn't matter. We'll find out. But Ironman this year. What are you looking forward to? What are you excited to see? What are you keen for?
I think Ironman did a great job with their series last year in terms of the racing. I think they really, and this is where I'm quite happy to say I have my preconceived ideas were wrong because when they launched that series, I wasn't expecting the Ironman Pro Series to really be anything. I thought it was just going to be an add-on to Ironman racing, but I think it really works. You get an amazing selection of athletes racing these Pro Series races. You get people chopping in and out. I really enjoyed Swansea last year. I was there on the ground. I thought that was an amazing weekend. And so I'm expecting that to continue. And if anything, I'm expecting it to expand. What I'd really like to see improve is broadcast quality and specifically the commentary. Those would be my main two comments, really.
No, I would echo your thoughts. When we got told about I guess the heads up about the Pro Series in Nice in 2023. 2023, yeah, the first year of the Memra in Nice. And when we got told about it, we're like, this sounds exceptional. This is exactly what we want. But you always had this sort of question mark of like, what's it actually going to turn out to be in practice? And I think it's the best thing I might have done for pro racing, maybe ever, because
for years, without question.
I would honestly, again, this is just trying to be objective. Away from the championship events last year, I think the races I got the most excited about or enjoyed the most were Pro Series races. I feel like we saw just crazy stuff happen in them, great performances. The fact that we had a consistently high level of field without it necessarily being the same athletes every week, but you still had of that sort of...
They chop in and out. It draws this highly competitive field to each race and different dynamics. And you haven't got the same names. You haven't got... It's not boring racing. It was exciting broadcast racing to watch.
It's not even boring racing, but it's something, a term that I'm actually legitimately like, I'm almost going to cringe at saying this. But if the concept of the season-long narrative, right? I actually feel like this Pro Series ended up having a more interesting season-long narrative because you get to have these discussions about the what-ifs. Oh, well, Christian did really, really well here, but he wasn't in this race. And, Magnus won South Africa, but there was no... So you end up having these discussions that culminates in the race like Hawaii or Nice or whatever it is. And it's because you've led up to this race with all these what-ifs and these scenarios. And, well, if this happened, then this. And again, for us to do on a podcast, that's our fucking... I love that shit, mate, because...
Yeah, it's dream. It is the dream. It's the dream because we, like you say, you've got different races happening in different places with different people and showing different abilities. And then you're like, but these people, they're all racing all over the place and some people are crossing over and then they're all going to meet here and there's going to be a showdown. And it really adds such an interesting dynamic to the season.
Like, I think if I had to look at the athlete last year that I feel like I had the most interest in discussing throughout the whole of their season, it's probably Kat Matthews, to be honest. Just because every single time Kat Matthews was at an event, she had an impact. Not always winning, sometimes DNFing, but it was always impactful, right? And like again, I was very, very unhappy to see her have the injury in Marbella that she did. But you talk about a fascinating thing. She beats Taylor Nib in Texas, smashes her.
Down the lead in Kona. That was
has the run battle with Laura Phillip. Runs a 2:40 marathon. Laura Phillip runs a 2:38 to win. Goes to Kona. Looks like she's out of the race. Suddenly she's got a chance. She's running her last kilometer in 3:30 trying to get the win down. Goes to Marbella. Running so much faster than the others, and then in terms of like interesting discussions and scenarios and what ifs. Like I know that last year one of the things we kept talking about, I kept trying to catch you on, was like at this point in time, who's going to win Kona? You can't have that discussion with the T100 or challenge because I guess it's the same people.
Certainly not mostly. Last season. It was on the men's side very, very clear who was going to win. But anybody who called Solveig Lovsek for Kona,
lying.
Yeah,
we had her as a wild card, I think. But in terms of the things that I'm really looking forward to this year with Ironman, I'm really looking forward to them having the 70.3 Worlds in Nice. I love Nice. I love Nice as a race venue. I think it is
I'm going out
absolutely
there for
brilliant.
that. It's going to be amazing. I do love
It's
Nice.
it's I'm trying to travel less this year because last year was diabolical. But I do feel like I'll probably get over for that event. That's my semi plan at the moment. And then Kona. The fact that we're going to have the men and women in Kona again together, I think it's going to be pretty special. I think we're going to see some pretty exciting racing. Again, talk about, we'll save it for another episode, but there's already at this point, after what happened last year, so many scenarios. I've heard whispers about certain athletes that are going to go for Kona this year that haven't done it before. You know, we've got the old guard. We've seen Cam Worth just run a 5K PB, you know, at 41, 42 years of age, really focus on Kona. There's so many things that are going to happen with this. There's probably athletes,
5K PB?
16, 20 something.
It's 42.
It's crazy. It gives me hope. Yeah, I feel like that's going to be, like, it's good for the women because we had it last year. We get to go back straight away and see a repeat. I think things are going to be different. Solva's going to have a radar on her back a lot more, but the men's race we're going to have Casper. Like, there's just already that race is very, very exciting to me. I will probably not go there this year for other reasons. I don't think I'd be allowed in, but yeah, that's probably the thing that I'm most excited about. And then Nice, I think, as well. I love it as a venue. I hope that there's big Ironman events.
I love it as a venue because watching it's so easy when you're there in the race. Being in Nice is a pleasure. It's a beautiful place with a beautiful climate, beautiful seafront, and such an amazing place to go bike riding. And if you're there this year and you bring a bike, I'll show you where to go riding properly in Nice, where you don't just fight your way through a city.
Maybe we'll hire a bike. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm very keen for the Ironman series this year. I genuinely, I just feel like Ironman is, for so many reasons, Ironman have quite consistently done their thing, with the exception of adding the Pro Series, which did feel a little reactionary to T100. But everyone has sort of ended up following the Ironman example. Ironman have just been like, guys, we've been doing this for a long time. You should have listened to us. And every other race organizer seems to be going more towards the Ironman model now, and it's because it works, or it's what's successful, at least in the space. They've got a really great new leader. I feel like Scott Drew is a real breath of fresh air for the company, because we're seeing so much dialogue and reaction and response to feedback and stuff, which we didn't used to really get on domestic at all. And I mean, I know for a fact that things are changing with the broadcast. Again, not our place to talk about, but I think we will see an improved, things will be improved, I think. Well, I hope. I say that now, it'll probably end up being the same thing, but there's only one way it can go because we're already at the bottom. So Ironman, keen for it.
Yeah, there are rumblings. There are rumblings on that broadcast front, and it's going to be interesting to see how it develops.
It will. WTCS, mate. Actually, it's not called. What is it called now? T50 or is that next? Is that this year or is it still WTCS? It's still WTCS this year. It changes next year, right?
We've skipped the T100, haven't we?
I was going to go to them later, but we can go to.
Okay. WTCS, yeah. So it's a later start, 27th of March, and they've got 10 races,
Crazy.
culminating in the grand final in Pontevedra. So Abu Dhabi is the starting race. 2025, we saw Lisa Tersch and Hayden Wilde win there. Tersch went on to win the world title. Hayden Wilde did not. So, it's going to be... Alex Yee is coming back to the series to focus his efforts on it. Matt Hauser will be looking to underline his win and show that he wasn't just the guy who won it when Alex Yee and Hayden Wilde weren't there.
And Hayden Wilde's back as well, I think, isn't he?
And, Cassandra Beaugrand will want to get that title.
I loved WTCS last year. I really, really loved WTCS last year. And I think 10 races is a bit extreme. Like, Jesus Christ, that's a lot of races. Olympic qualification, I believe the process starts now, which is why we're seeing the athletes start to return. They want to get the points, etc. I feel like we're going to see a lot of those athletes who, Kate Waugh, Hayden Wilde, etc., Morgan Pearson maybe, who went up, will probably come back down. And I think that a lot of those younger athletes who we've seen come through, Henry Graffs, as a good example, or Crociani, the Italian guy. It's going to be quite fascinating to see how they all start to mingle. Yeah, 10 races does seem a little extreme to me. I'm just like, Jesus, that's it's a lot of racing and traveling. But they have, in terms of what they do, I think improved the most. I really enjoyed the race broadcast last year. I think that, the commentary is acceptable, but yeah, I think that the Triathlon Live membership is probably my favorite triathlon thing that I pay for, and I'm absolutely frothing for WTCS this year. It was definitely the thing I'm most excited for in triathlon this year.
Do we know the breakdown of those 10 races? Which are sprint and which are
Can't,
Olympic now?
not off the top of my head.
No, we have to go look at it.
You'd have to go and
Yeah,
look at it.
I agree. It's especially as the Olympic cycles really start to pick up now. This is the year where that begins. Um, I'm really keen to see Matt Hauser have another good year.
So,
I've got a lot of time for Matt.
do you see his new cycling kit?
Yes, badass.
Fire, right? Like,
Yeah.
not many people could pull off an all white tri suit with the rainbows, and I was like, that is very nice.
Yeah, he certainly looks better in an all-white tri-suit than I did when I tried it 10 years ago.
Or recently, we can get him on with your face all over it too, mate. He'd probably make that look pretty good as well. Yeah, I really want to see Hauser have a really great year because he was so good last year.
Totally, but I want to see, Wilde and Yi come back in and bring spice to the racing, bring challenges to the racing, push that man, make it so that we've got this three-prong, perhaps more, perhaps people we haven't considered, also going for the title. I mean, that's the nature of the beast, isn't it? You want to see the Formula One of triathlon, and you want to see tight racing and a hot contest.
Do you think we are going to see it go back to the same thing where it's just going to be Yi and Hayden off the front? Like, is that a fear? Because it is a little bit of a fear for me.
Yeah, it is. It is. I hope we don't. I hope, sport never stops evolving. And in a part, I mean, I love both those athletes. They're both great. I think they're going to go another Olympic cycle. Every chance Yi wins another gold. Every chance Hayden wins a gold. But sport never stops. It never stops evolving, never stops moving forward. There aren't many athletes who've managed to take a year out of something and then come back in and done well again. And there's part of me that thinks maybe Yi and Hayden are going to join back on this train and the sport will have moved on, but we'll see.
I have a feeling that could be the case too. I feel like there's the athlete, I suppose, I am most interested to see outside of those guys this year, and that's because I don't think they've raced last year. If they did, they didn't make much of an impact. It's Hugo Milner. Hugo Milner is this big question mark for me because he seems to be we if we look back to Alex Yee's entrance to triathlon, it was this super runner. Swim and bike wasn't quite where it needs to be, and he's turned out to be the best short course athlete of the period. Hugo Milner seems to have a very similar, I guess, trajectory to Yi, but we haven't seen him start to have those breakthroughs yet. I feel like if he's going to, we should start to see hints of it this year, especially if he's going to be one of the athletes that goes to the Olympics for Team GB. And I'm here for it. Again, I get the thing. People know this. I'm always so excited about those up and comers, those breakout athletes, those breakout performances, and yeah, Hugo Milner's one I watch. And then women, I think that there's so much. I actually think the women's fields are probably a lot more exciting in terms of WTCS. Lisa Tersch, Cassandra's back, Emma Lombardi's there, Leonie Perriot, Jean Leher. I think we're going to have probably Sophie Colbold make her return, Beth Potter. Like it's Jess Fulliger was so good at the end of last year. Like there's a lot going to happen in the women's racing this year too, and I'm genuinely excited for WTCS racing. I just think maybe the season's a bit long.
I agree, but the way the women's season finished last year, the way it all culminated in that race, amazing. That's what a series can dream of, eh?
Yeah.
A season-long narrative culminating in a race that decides it all.
We need to have like an alternative word for that or something.
I know. It's a oft mocked phrase, but it
it's true.
still means something.
Finally, Finally, the last one that I didn't miss, I was just saving for the end. T100. T100 2026 kicks off, as you said, in on the Gold Coast at the end of March. Women only race, and then into Singapore for men only race. A different season, 8 races, lots of Middle Eastern races this year. Where are we at? Different, no contracts, invitations, still 20 athlete fields, bigger prize money. Where are we at? What are your thoughts for T100 this year?
Yeah, I think this will be a very decisive year for them. I fear the splitting the men's and women's racing because one of the things I liked so much about the Ironman Pro Series was how dense the racing felt. And that is as much because of the pro athletes, but also the amateurs that are racing around them. It feels busy. It felt like there was a vibe. The T100 races, as exciting as some of the racing could be, it didn't feel vibey. I never watched it and thought, well, it's kicking off there. And I worry that stripping half of a field away from a race that didn't, a very series that didn't feel like it was kicking off, takes away 50% of what was there attempting to kick off.
I want to question you because we were talking about Challenge Roth before and the difference in our, how I presented the fact that they pay a lot of appearance fees. T100 PTO this year have stopped that. They've removed the contract. And I actually think, to be honest, fair enough. The athletes took the piss with it and I understand why they did. But do you think that because of that, we're going to see less? Are we going to see less commitment from athletes? Or do you think we are going to see, what impact do you think it's going to have? Is the new prize money going to entice more athletes, or are we going to see them go actually?
I hope so. I mean, there's no contracts with the Ironman Pro Series, and they are enticing athletes to go and race these series. And we've seen really exciting racing in there, as we've already discussed. So if I was T100, I would say, especially with the way the athletes responded to some of these contracts, I would say, yeah, we're gone are the days of the contracts. We'll put the prize money up per race. You might see less prize money across the season, but you'll see more prize money per race. I would hope that is going to entice more people to go and race these series, and we're going to see more competitive, better racing on the T100 series. Got to hope for that.
Something at the end of last year that you said that we disagreed on was you said we need to give the T100.
Quoting me last year.
You said that we need to give the T100 the benefit of the doubt, and I challenged you on that. And I said I think that at this point in time they're not entitled to the benefit of the doubt because we've seen consistently the same thing. And I'm going to contradict myself a little bit because I actually feel like if there is, of all the series that we've spoken about today, if there is a series that I actually genuinely think are always trying to improve, whether I agree with what they do all the time is a different thing, but I think they are these series that are genuinely always trying to, like, they're not reactive or they're not sitting complacent. They are always trying to keep moving forward. This is the third year of the T100. You'd have to be, nobody could believe that last season was a successful season. We know that I just think there's a lot of line for the T100, and I think that's why we're going to see a lot of, hopefully, an improved, polished package this year, and I'm excited for that. If we end the season, it's very much the same as last year. I just don't see how it continues. And I really do think, if anything, they're entitled to the benefit of the doubt that they actually do seem to be committed to trying to improve and not just do, like, they're not just going to force their view. They are listening. They are trying to improve all the time. And I think that's why they certainly are entitled to the benefit of the doubt when it comes to that aspect.
Oh, they are proactively trying to find their place in this landscape, this ecosystem, and beyond. They're not settling, I don't think, for we get the frothers, as you call them.
Frothers, yeah.
Watching, they are pushing to expand outside the sport. Whether they'll succeed or not will yet to be seen. Whether I think they will or not, I keep that to myself for the minute. But I think, yes, in terms of proactivity and really trying to expand the envelope, the T100 are the ones that are really pushing it.
Yeah.
And I hope they succeed.
I'm looking forward to seeing what they do on the Gold Coast. I'm looking forward to what they're going to do in Singapore. I'm looking forward to some of their more iconic events. I'm not so interested in their Middle Eastern races if they're the same as this year, just last year, because they were just like, they look like COVID races. I thought that was the perfect analogy. But
I love their adoption of that Supertri approach of just sometimes adding extra laps in, sometimes not, taking them away, sending people the wrong way.
long course Supertri, yeah.
Great, yeah. It's great.
Well, that's a segue. The last series to talk about this year is Supertri. Fuck knows what they're doing at this point in time because they haven't announced anything.
Yeah, I'm a bit bemused by Supertri. I'm not sure what they're doing, but they are the one series that have earned a huge amount of grace from me in terms of me going, I don't get it. So because they might emerge from whatever they're up to behind the scenes and become the next amazing series. So we'll see. What do you know?
No, mate, nothing. There was that weird press release at the end of last year where it's like smoke and daggers and mirrors, but they're going to have the biggest single day prize purse at the grand final. So I guess we'll find out. I did see in that article from Tri 24/7 that they've put the E-Games, there's no Super Tri E World Championships this year. They've put that on hold because the Olympics have decided to cancel the potential eSports World Champs, which is why I don't think that's why they did it. But yeah, I always have this. It's like not stock. I don't know, like what's Stockholm syndrome, where every year I'm like, what the fuck is Supertri doing? God, like are they what? And then I'm like, oh, it's great. So
yeah. I had a chat with Michael Dorst on the phone a couple of weeks ago. You know, information was vague. I'm not gonna even try and explain what they're up to right now because I don't have enough information to contextualize it properly for everybody. But yeah, of all the series, they're the ones I have belief in that they can produce something that is really worth watching, irrespective of whatever they say they're going to be doing.
Well, that's it. 2026. We're done. We're back. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for everybody who, as I said, jumped on Patreon over the break. Thank you everybody who was gracious enough to come back and listen after us taking a month off. We certainly needed it, and we're excited to cover and talk triathlon again this year. Jimbo, mate, if people want to find out more about Talking Triathlon, where do they need to go?
If you want to support the show, jump on at patreon.com/Talking Triathlon. If you want to follow Tim, he's at T14 on Instagram. I'm at bale.james85 on Instagram. We're also at Talking Triathlon on Instagram. If you join the Patreon group, you get access to the monthly bonus episodes, the social group, the WhatsApp group, which sustains us throughout the non-triathlon moments in our lives, but also amplifies the race experiences to a degree that is very difficult to translate unless you've experienced it. If you're not a member of the Patreon group, though, and you want to get in touch, the best place to do that is to leave a comment on YouTube, and we will see it and we will respond. Or, if it's a stupid comment, we'll just delete it.
I don't delete comments. Have you?
Do you not?
No, I just ignore them. To be honest, there's not many of them. Guys, as I said, thank you, James. Thank you very much, guys. We'll be back next week to talk. Guess what, mate? Guess what we're going to talk about next week?
Cricket?
Triathlon. See you, buddy.
Cheerio.